Well, over the past several years here at Reach Right, we have helped literally hundreds of thousands of pastors through our services, our videos, and all the content we put out there. But it occurred to me recently that we've never done a basic entry-level church marketing 101 resource for people just like you. So in this video, we're gonna break down exactly what I would do if I was just getting started in church marketing. Let's do this. Well, hey guys, I'm Thomas. I'm the founder of Reach Right, and we put out new content like this multiple times every week. So if you're a pastor, a church leader, or just into this kind of information, we would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. Now let's kick this off, and before we get too deep, I want to talk about the why. Why is church marketing important? It used to be that people just went to the church that was in their local community and they would know where it was and they grew up going into those buildings, but those days are long behind us. In fact, a recent study from Gallup found that only 39% of Americans have a high level of trust for pastors or clergy in their lives. So what that tells us is the once most trusted institution in America, the local church, that perception has totally changed amongst people in our communities. And one of the tools we can use to change that perception and make an impact in our communities is church marketing. Now, when I think about church marketing, what we're really talking about is we're sharing the gospel in a broad sense to a general audience. Church marketing is getting the word out about our churches and the gospel and the message of Jesus Christ to a broad audience. And that's really what we're here to help people do. The goal of any church marketing campaign needs to start and end with the primary goal of reaching more people with the good news of Jesus Christ. And in turn, that typically will lead to church growth. Your church is a place where people can grow and be discipled and then turn into other people that are winning more people for Jesus Christ. So it's something that we have been doing for years, coaching churches on exactly how to do this. Now that we have that out of the way, let's start off with the first step that your church needs to take whenever you start considering church marketing. And that first step is really understanding your audience. You need to know who you're trying to reach in any marketing campaign before you start actually reaching people. Otherwise, you're just putting all your efforts into something that you hope will work. So take the time to really understand who it is in your community that God has positioned you to be able to reach. Now, I want to get this out of the way. There's always going to be some pushback, and maybe you're thinking it right now. Well, God has called us to reach everybody in our community. It doesn't matter. We don't have a certain type that we want to reach. Everybody's welcome to hear the gospel. But I would argue, and I hope you can see this too, that your church is probably uniquely positioned to reach a certain kind of person better than anybody else. Let me give you a for instance. If your church is in a community where there are lots of English speakers and Spanish speakers, but you offer services that are only in English, chances are you're not going to be the best church to reach the Spanish-speaking population in your community there. This is also true if your church is reaching primarily middle-aged people and you don't have a lot of children in your children's ministry. Well, chances are you're not going to be the best church for families with lots of children to come and visit. Take a look at the people that are around your church. Take a look at the people that are in your congregation. Take a look at the community around you. What do the people look like? What do they have in common? Are they of a certain background? Do they like certain activities? Are there needs in your community that maybe your church is uniquely positioned to be able to help meet? These are the kinds of questions you want to wrestle with. And once you've done that, you can really start to tailor your message to very specific audiences. They have different needs and respond to different messages and will come to different events, and you need to act accordingly when it comes to your marketing messaging. And again, this is not to say that you're stuck in that place, but it's just best for you to know who you are so that you can act accordingly and make sure your messaging is tailor-made for the exact people that God has made you to reach. So once you've asked some of those questions about your audience and who you're trying to reach, that's when you can start on the second step, and that's building your church's brand. Branding is so important because as you start in church marketing, one of the goals is to have people see your church over and over and over again and make that instant, memorable impact each time people have an encounter with your church. The way you do that is with a brand. So what does building a brand look like? Well, there's two primary components to it. The first one is what most people think of when they think of a brand, and that's developing your church's logo, look, and feel. Having a logo established and something that you use consistently that has the same look, the same colors, the same orientation every time someone sees it makes you more memorable. And the second one is kind of like it, is you need to build out your mission, your vision statements, and core values, because people will be seeing this messaging over and over again. I would think of your logo as more intended for people that are not yet a part of your church, and then your mission, vision, and core values, those are more for people that are already a part of your church. So really the goal for you in this part of the process is to get a logo and color palette and style created and get your church statements all figured out, and then just stick with them. Really, consistency is the most important part here. Don't get so caught up in making sure everything's perfect, because more often than not, I found that keeps people from taking that next step and actually reaching people with the good news. So don't get hamstrung, but absolutely building your church brand is of the utmost importance. Step number 3 is building an online presence. Now, it goes without saying, and I'm sure you already realize this, but your online presence is now really just as important as the physical presence of your church. Your physical presence is only going to be used in the best cases for maybe a dozen hours per week or so, whereas your online presence, it'll be available literally 24/7. When we talk about online presence, we're talking about first and foremost your church's website. This is the number one place that people will encounter you and have their first impression of who you are as a church. That's where they'll learn about who you are as a church and who you're able to reach and what kind of ministries you offer and what you believe and when to show up and how to give their lives to Jesus and all those steps. So all of that typically now happens on your church's website. So establishing an effective website should be your first priority as a church marketer. If I were to give you one piece of advice of how to build a great website for your church, it would be to focus your website on people that are not yet a part of your church. This is a fundamental mistake that I see churches of all sizes making every single day. They make the priority of their website the members of their church and not the community that they're trying to serve. The goal of your website is to introduce people that may not yet be familiar with your church to what your church is all about. So make it about them. Use imagery that would speak to people that are not yet a part of your church. Use language that people that are not a part of your church would understand. Keep them the focus and you'll have an effective website. After you have your website established, then you can start to look at getting your social media presence built out. My advice to you here is to start slowly when it comes to social media. Resist the temptation to start profiles on every single available social media channel. The main thing we need to realize is that you're not going to be able to be great at every single channel without a few staff people dedicated full time to making content for these kinds of channels. So in the beginning, you want to choose a channel or two and really start to build out your profile on these channels. Make a point of going into your Facebook profile or Instagram profile and filling out every single question that you can about your church. Do this on your YouTube channel and your TikTok profile, whichever ones you choose, fill it out completely, and then those channels will typically take you more seriously and reward you with more reach if you spend the time to do that work. One of the most overlooked things that a lot of churches miss is really thinking about local SEO or search engine optimization. What this is what comes up when people put in searches like churches near me. You don't actually need to invest huge amounts of money to do local SEO. In most cases, especially when you're just starting out, churches can do some of these things on their own. So you want to take a deep dive into that. I won't spend a lot of time in this video because we've done several other videos that go in really deep on some of the specifics of how to do church SEO. So you can find some of those on our channel. We hope we help you out. Now, once you've built an online presence, the next step moves more towards content creation. Think of content creation as, what do I put onto the online presence that I've already built? It's one thing to have a Facebook page or a TikTok account or a website, but if you're not putting new, fresh content on that all the time, it will become totally invisible. We have an enormous opportunity when it comes to video content, and I'm talking specifically about short form vertical videos. These are things like TikToks, Reels on Facebook and Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. These 4 channels really represent one of the greatest opportunities, I believe, in history to get the gospel message of Jesus Christ in front of lots of people. And here's one of the great things about these short form vertical videos I'm talking about is that churches were already doing this every single week. Almost every church we talk to is already filming their sermons, and they're usually putting those online. Really, all that's left to do is to edit them down and make them more engaging. Even if you decide just to do 1 video a week, you can put it onto 4 different channels, again, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and you have the potential to reach literally millions of people. So while vertical video is going to be the centerpiece of your strategy, there are many other avenues to explore, such as blog writing or putting your sermons on long form channels like YouTube. You can look at doing weekly newsletters to your church or creating events on platforms like Facebook and getting word out there about things going on at your church that way. There are so many different avenues. Choose maybe one other and just keep your focus really narrow, especially as you're just starting out. So we've discussed the opportunity that content creation has. Next, we probably want to look a little bit deeper and talk more specifically about advertising and promotion. When we talk about advertising, it usually means spending dollars to get the message in front of more people. And there's 2 primary channels for that. And here's a little secret. One of them actually doesn't really cost you dollars. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Google Ads and Facebook ads. Facebook ads are a fantastic opportunity to reach large amounts of people. I think where they do the best is when it comes to events that your church puts on that your community is invited to. I pastored a church in Madison, Wisconsin, where we would consistently every year run ads for our Halloween time party that we would have at our church every single year. And we literally saw hundreds of people every year respond and show up to our Halloween event because of ads that we put onto Facebook. And here's what's great. We spent like $40 every year on that. The second opportunity, and the one I was talking about before that should cost you something but actually doesn't, is doing Google ads. When I say Google ads, what I mean are when someone does a search for any topic, typically you'll see a few ads that come up at the very top. They'll have the term ad or sponsored right next to them, and then you'll know that this is something that someone paid to put on the top of a Google search. So why doesn't this cost money? Well, Google gives a grant to nonprofits that's worth $10,000 every single month in free ads. They don't give you cash, don't make that mistake. They give you credit on their platform to what comes out to about $330 every single day to use to advertise and tell people about your church and the good news about Jesus Christ. If there is one opportunity in the church today that not enough churches take advantage of, it has to be this Google grant. Almost every church will qualify for this. So if you qualify, which again, most churches will, you need to take advantage of this. Down in the description, I'm gonna put a link to an eligibility checker where you can answer 3 or 4 quick questions. It'll tell you whether your church is eligible or not. So you absolutely want to take advantage of that. And once you do, you'll have access to $10,000 every month on the Google ad platform. So now that you've built your online presence and you're maybe supplementing that with some ads on Facebook and using the Google grant, well, the next step to market your church effectively is to actually measure your success. As you start out, it's very important that you set clear, and here's the key word, measurable goals for what you want to see your church marketing campaign accomplish. And I emphasize that term measurable because I see so many churches making that mistake of keeping things very general. We just want to see more growth, and we want to see more hits on our website, and we want to see more people decide to follow Jesus. I want to encourage you to just put a number on it. Say that, hey, next year we want to see 100 new families visit our church for the first time. Say in the next 3 months, we want to see our Facebook followers grow by 20%. Be very specific with what those numbers are. We really encourage churches to measure just about anything you can think of, but the key things you're going to try to measure fall into one of 2 categories: attendance and engagement. Attendance is something that your church probably measures already. You probably know how many people typically come on a Sunday and how many people typically go to small groups and how many people are involved there. Engagement is a little bit different. Engagement online, it means things like how many likes and shares and comments, how many subscribers. These kinds of numbers are the things you're going to be looking at. that signify that your campaign is headed in the right direction. And while it doesn't always immediately lead to new people showing up on Sundays, I can't think of a lot of churches that build a really strong presence that doesn't translate into some kind of an impact that's happening at the physical church location. And avoid the temptation to just ballpark these numbers. Actually count them, write them down, and look at it month over month and year over year, and you will see growth over time. Because really, this isn't about helping us feel better about ourselves. It's about how to make better decisions going forward when it comes to where we're gonna spend our time marketing our church. And after you've done some of that measurement, I wanna leave you with a few best practices. Frankly, they're things that will help you avoid some of the most common pitfalls that I see new church marketers fall into. The first one is to keep the communication within your church leadership open and transparent. You need to be having open conversations with your pastors, your church leaders, and those around you about what's working, what you're doing, and really fighting to get people on board with this. When it comes to marketing, I know that this is probably gonna rub some people the wrong way because that's not the way we've always done it as a church, and those are famous words in churches if you haven't heard that already. So you're gonna ruffle some feathers. People will probably be upset with you. Keep communication open and honest, and as long as your leaders are on your side, typically you'll be able to rise above the fray and have a successful marketing campaign. And here's another piece of advice, and this one honestly might be the most important. The key to church marketing is staying consistent. Choose a plan and stay with it, and don't let anything take you off course. If you decide that we want to post on TikTok twice a week, make sure you post on TikTok twice a week. Don't try it for 3 weeks and say, hey, that didn't work, and let's move on to the next thing. If you're gonna start anything in marketing, commit to doing it for an absolute minimum of 6 months. These things tend to take time to get started, and then they tend to snowball, but I can almost assure you that your first video will not be the one that goes viral. It might be your 98th video that goes viral, and in a lot of cases, it's your 154th. The point is that with church marketing, it's a long, consistent process that actually gets results. Here at Reach Right, we've been blogging for 6 years now. And in the beginning, nobody ever read our blog. And then 2 or 3 people would read a post. And after a while, we'd have 15 or 20. Fast forward to today, we're seeing 3,000 people every day getting onto our blog that we write for church leaders. And there's all kinds of content they're interacting with on there. But if we had stopped after that 4th or 5th post, we never would have got to this place. The same thing goes for your Facebook account and your TikTok videos, and going on YouTube, we've seen that snowball faster than anything. The results are always in consistency. So my encouragement to you is to pick a plan, write it down, and stay consistent with it no matter what. Write it down and do it. Actually execute it, and don't get caught up in the fact that almost nobody is seeing these initial posts that you're doing out there. The results will come over time if you focus on quality and consistency. And finally, I want to say this: always keep an eye out on new trends. Trends are really where church marketing is at, because if you jump on a trend early enough, you have an enormous potential for some of the best returns. So you want to keep your eye on what other churches are doing, what the best marketers are doing, and here at Reach Right, we want to be a great resource for this. So if you haven't already, it would mean a lot to me if you would hit that subscribe button. If you've made it this far, hopefully we've earned that subscription. If it has been helpful, that would mean a lot to me if you would hit that subscribe button. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.